assassin. I don't dance.
Really? Well, on my planet, we have a legend about people like you. It's called Footloose. And in it, a great hero named Kevin Bacon teaches an entire city full of people with sticks up their butts that dancing, well, it's the greatest thing there is.
Who put the sticks up their butts?
What? No, it's
That
just,
is cruel.
It's just cheat codes. All right. Hi, everybody. It's September 8th, 2015. This is episode 62 of the Cheat Codes podcast. The next hour is us enjoying a couple of beers, going over our favorite bits in video game, pop culture, and tech news. We're recording this aboard the Milano as we careen through the cosmos, guarding the galaxy and stuff.
Guarding the
Galak-Z.
the Galak-Z.
We'll get to that.
You got it.
My name is Joe Erskine. I am your host. Today I'm with Cheat Codes producer and editor, Mr. Joe Gamora Arroyo.
Hello.
Cheat Codes contributor, Mr. Nikk Drax Golesh.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey. Cheat Codes community manager, Bosky junior game designer, Mr. Chris Groot Morris.
I am Groot.
There you go.
Had to do that.
And we're happy to welcome lead engineer at 17-Bit Games, Mr. Zach Thanos Aikman. How are you, sir?
You guys gave me the best nickname. Hi. Thank you.
He's pretty badass. It's true.
Is it
Such a
Thanos
badass.
or Thanos?
Is it Thanos or Thanos?
I think it's potato, guys.
All right,
Can we move on? Great. Today on the show, we'll be ranting on the following topics. For the purposes of being thorough, we're going to address the whole Kimmel game streaming thing one more time. His most recent response to the public outcry and what is hopefully the end of it. In the land of silly simulator games, Shower with Your Dad Simulator 2015, do you still shower with your dad? He is king. Prepare yourself. Ubisoft is building a theme park in Malaysia. Assassins of the Caribbean? Tower of Watchdogs? Anybody? For today's lightning round, we will quickly mention the following. Firefox co-creator wrote an unofficial Silicon Valley episode and nailed it, apparently. I'm not surprised. Hopefully it features more Dinesh and Guilfoyle. Game Jamming for Charity will tell you all about War Child and who's participating. More of this kind of stuff, please. And there's a MegaMan movie reportedly in the works. Let the theoretical casting begin. And because while all this talk of games and stuff is fun, what could possibly make it better? We see the answer to that question is very simple.
Beer.
It's beer. Nothing better than tipping a few pints with a few friends and new ones. Hi, Zach. After a long day. So that being said, we're enjoying a few Three Philosophers quadruple ale from the Amagang Brewing Company in Cooperstown, New York. This is right down the road from where I went to high school.
This shit will destroy you.
These are the guys that make the Game of Thrones beers.
Yeah.
Actually. So if that rings a bell for anybody, but they're good. This is one of the first American breweries to do Belgian beers the right way. It's delicious. It's really good. Zach, congrats to you and the 17-Bit crew on Galak-Z.
Thank you very much.
Tell us, of course. Tell us a little about the game. Maybe give us a look at your day-to-day and what might be next for 17-Bit.
Sure. So Galak-Z is a top-down 2D space shooter, heavily inspired by late 70s and early 80s anime shows, things like Macross, Robotech, Star Blazer in particular. But our goal at 17-Bit is to bring 16-Bit era games into the modern generation. So like updated physics, updated AI. And so it's very much a nostalgic sort of title without pandering to nostalgia. We've got super smart AI. It's sort of like our creative directors likened it to Halo in 2D or Far Cry in 2D just because of the way the combat plays out. It's a roguelite. You die a lot. It really sucks. It's really fucking hard. But it turns out there's a lot of people that are really into that. So I think we made the right call there. It's all procedural. It's different every time. It's a lot of fun. Even 3 years after we've been working on it, I still find myself playing it nearly daily, and not just because I have to. So I think it says good things about it.
That's really cool to hear.
One of the best things you can say about it, I think. Absolutely.
I'm curious, do you guys still have the little talking head at the bottom? The little guy that's like, didn't they have that at one point during the game?
Yeah, he'll like, so there's a lot of chatter among the enemies when you're in combat. Like if you're shooting an enemy and you knock out their shields, they'll be like, oh, my shields are blown. And he has like animations. So when you're boosting and shooting and stuff, he's all reacting to what you're actually doing in the game, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, you can see his face change. He's like pulling back when you accelerate or whatever.
When you transform into the mech, by the way, spoiler, there's a mech. There's this little like chevron that pops out of his helmet, and so it matches with that too. Nice. We spent a lot of time trying to get that.
That's fantastic.
So Zach, if you can give us a little look at what you do on a daily basis now that the game is shipped, and maybe a hint at what might be coming next from 17-bit.
Sure. So we're a pretty small studio. There's only 7 of us in the office. We actually have 2 offices. We have one in Seattle, and we recently opened a quote-unquote Kyoto branch over in Japan. Our creative director worked at Sega for a number of years, and he's always wanted to go back there. And now that he owns his own company, he's like, well, fuck it, let's just move. Awesome. So he went over there in September of last year, and I'm going to be following him in about a month or two. But day-to-day wise, we have our stand-up in the mornings. We talk about what we're all doing that day, make sure no one's blocked in anything. And then my day-to-day consists of all sorts of stuff. Sometimes it's fixing bugs. It's fixing something wrong with the repo or checking in on the community forums. I tend to be a bit of a generalist. I kind of bounce around all over the place depending on what needs to be done, technically speaking. But lately, we've been focusing on the Steam version, which is coming in about a month or so. Right now, it's a PS4 exclusive, but we're going to be hitting Steam hopefully by the end of September.
Awesome.
That's great.
You guys are probably the only under 10-person team that has 2 offices.
That's the first time I've ever heard of something like that, for sure.
It totally fucks up your day because you can't sync with people until the end of the day. It's like 6 p.m. our time is when people start waking up and coming to the office over there. So you sort of have to shift your schedule to match that.
Fair enough.
It's a little annoying, but
yeah, it's got to be tough.
Is it going to be better if you're going to follow him out there? I assume that means you're going to Kyoto, and so is it going to be better for you on your end? Will you get earlier? I'm not sure how time works. So is it going to be better for you to be there or here?
It'll be better to be there just because myself and Raj, our studio director, are both moving, and so with the 2 of us over there, the bulk of the team will be in Kyoto, and then we're going to keep a couple people behind to keep working on stuff. But it'll be much easier with everybody, with most of the team in one place again.
Nice. I haven't I was saying earlier to these guys when I have a bunch of PlayStation cash kind of like in the bank right now, and Galak-Z is like right on my radar. Like I definitely want to get into that because I love roguelikes, so I'm into it.
Yeah. So if you guys
school and stuff,
are moving to Kyoto, like where are those 17-bit parties going to be after PAX? Is it just going to be done, or are we going to have to go to Japan for that? Because I'm fine.
Great question. I'm tempted to just make everyone fly out for a party.
Do it, dude.
No, we're keeping the space. Like I said, we're going to keep a couple people behind. We're probably going to rent out half the office. So we work in a giant warehouse. I don't know if you guys have seen the space before, but it's literally just this massive warehouse that we've decked out into an office. But we're also renting the space next door. And myself, Raj, our studio director, and Chris Floyd, who co-runs the Mega Booth, are all putting together a co-working space specifically designed for indie developers in Seattle.
So kind of like an incubator type of thing, or?
Yeah, exactly. And then not incubator, like we don't own any of the stuff you do. It's just a place for people to get together and toss around ideas and work together in a collaborative environment. So I think that's where most of the parties will happen from now on.
That's a huge space too, especially with that next door area. So that could probably accommodate quite a few people.
Just in like downtown Seattle area, or?
It's in the Soto district.
It's by Dreamgirls
Stadium.
Thanks. Oh, now I know exactly where. Thank you.
That's not location specific at all. All right, fair enough.
I know there's some people they use their landmarks as fast food restaurants for Chris Morris
or strip clubs. Yeah, there you go. Well, thanks again, man, for being on the show. Why don't we get started, gentlemen? Shall we? Topics. Here it comes. So week 2 of Kimmel Watch. I guess it's happening. Yeah, it's kind of like week 3 at this point. But Paul Tassi of Forbes had a nice little kind of, I don't even know if it was nice or not, but he basically called the latest response from Kimmel to the gaming community as unfunny, unproductive, and generally kind of a waste of time. I'm not sure if I totally agree.
I totally agree.
I completely agree.
Okay. Chris, you want to chime in here?
I don't really care.
Do you want to fill the rest of the story out?
I will in a second, but Zach, did you get a chance to watch? Have you been following this at all?
I watched his. I don't think I saw his response. I watched the first one where he was just laid into games as an esport, but I haven't seen his follow up yet.
There's 2 responses actually. There's the one where he laid into him, and then there's the one after that where he tried to, I guess maybe say like, okay, I'm sorry, and then
not even that, just address it. Yeah,
address it, and then there's the one after that where he tried to get a bunch of Let's Players on and play some video games or something. That's the one we're talking about. Which
Right. So we addressed this briefly last week on the show, and his latest response, he got Markiplier and Missy May, two very famous and well-known YouTube Let's Players, on to kind of like, hey, look, guys, I got friends in high places and help me vindicate myself in this argument. But also at the same time, like, I think there was probably a small part of him, aside from comedy writing, that wanted it to be like, I do kind of want to understand what I'm not understanding. There was a very small smidgen of that. He chose to enter the room wearing a power glove and carrying a light pistol from Duck Hunt.
Come on, dude.
So it goes pretty much all downhill from there.
was that his decision or the producers?
Who knows?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it really
not
doesn't.
relevant.
I mean, he's obviously the face of that show, and is going to be representative of all the decisions that are made, right?
Yeah.
So let's just assume it's his fault, okay? But basically, what ends up happening is that there's a whole lot of uncomfortable jokes, poorly made, and some maybe that kind of landed, not really though. And his attempt to kind of try and meet people halfway and be like, "Hey, I'm going to go and try and figure this thing out," was really just him playing Rocket League for like 10 minutes. Having Markiplier tell him he sucked at playing Rocket League, and then like just
And then it was over.
Right. Like, but previous to that, it was like, hey, Missy was like, hey, I made this video of my parents using like, Oculus Rift and stuff like that, and like it was like a Minecraft
roller coaster
ride, and his parents were screaming, and like they're experiencing VR as maybe some middle-aged adults might, you know what I mean? And it was very exciting for them, and so whatever. Jimmy Kimmel made some orgasm jokes. And then tried to hook up Markiplier and Missy May.
That was awkward.
It was super
Thoroughly
awkward. Can we all just let this go now? Can we just let it go?
No, I have a lot to say.
All right, so
this.
I'm going to passing the conch here now. Go ahead, buddy.
Well, my issue was that in the second, when he first addressed the issue, he addressed it only because it was the most disliked video that Kimmel has ever posted on YouTube in the history of their...
And they post a lot of
videos. Right. So his smashing the whole Let's Play esports thing did not go well with the community. Neither did the comments. But instead of addressing it in a way where he wanted to find out more information about why maybe people were so mad, he just decided to read all the comments from the biggest trolls that were there, which obviously those are the kind that are like, go kill yourself, you donkey. Blah,
they're
blah, blah.
still YouTube comments, guys.
Yeah, they're YouTube comments. What do you expect? He's like, oh, the most offensive one was this guy who said first. And then then he decided to readdress it again because he felt like everybody was mad about that second video that went up that was also disliked just as much as the other one. The problem I have is that, like you said, there was never any moment during that third one where he was attempting to find out, like, explain or understand it. Did he ever actually try to understand it at any moment? Like, he never asked why people like it, what makes it interesting, why is it that you do it. He just asked the what. It was the what. It wasn't the why. It's like, so you just stand in front of this camera and you play this game? Like, that's not trying to understand it.
Yeah.
You're not asking any questions. And then he just played a little himself and then made a bunch of awkward jokes. It was like, dude, this one's going to be just as bad as the other two.
It was a pretty epic fail.
So
all around.
This is an ongoing thing. This is like Kimmelgate.
Zach, do you do the whole Twitch / like Let's Play thing at all? Do you like watch, just to catch a glimpse of games that maybe you otherwise wouldn't be playing?
To be honest, I haven't really lately. I watched a few Hearthstone games because that's fun. But since Galak-Z came out, we've seen a lot of people streaming it on Twitch, and I never really enjoyed it until watching people play the game. And I totally get it now. Like, I see why it's so compelling and why it's so enjoyable.
No, fair enough. It took me. I'm kind of an old man, and it took me a while. Like, I was Jimmy Kimmel for a while, and I made some bad jokes in the show. We have to go back and scrub through some episodes to find out how bad I didn't get it. But I've since kind of like come around to the whole idea, like, even lately before the new Metal Gear Solid came out, for instance, like people, were launching it up at midnight to like give the reveals and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I kind of want to watch this because I want to see what's happening. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, some of its relevance and like importance kind of like made itself clear to me. So I'm coming around slowly.
I feel with Let's Plays, the joy I get out of it a little bit is watching somebody else enjoy a game that I enjoy in a way, and I think that goes very. Not to get like too deep on you guys or something. That goes very much with human nature or something.
Okay.
It's like, wait. Why was nature in quotes? I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
But when I really enjoy something, you want to be able to share it with somebody so you can get them to enjoy it also or something.
Yeah.
But Let's Play, they already enjoy it, and you get to watch them enjoy it also, and you enjoy it, and everybody's enjoying this one thing. And
It kind of sounds like a circle jerk.
there's nothing but happiness in this.
Everyone's
circle.
just
It's a win for everyone. Let's just say that. I think that's appropriate.
Who's losing in these Let's Plays except for the moderators or something, I guess?
No, and I think this is where Jimmy Kimmel failed, I think, to a certain degree. And is that he tried to compare it to being like it's one step away from, or one more step in the opposite direction of human interaction. And it's like, why would you go do this when you can actually go play the game? Why would you watch somebody else play it? Well, it's like, if I want to have a conversation, I'll go have a conversation. Why would I watch you have one, Jimmy Kimmel, on TV with somebody sitting on your couch?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's the same thing. You know what I mean? So I think like trying to make that correlation for him as an argument against not understanding game streaming is the wrong one to make.
Well, he also took it much farther than that by mistake when he thought he was just throwing in a couple extra jokes.
Yeah.
This was in his second video when he addressed it, where he took it all the way to the esports thing, where he's like, he couldn't understand why you'd want to watch somebody else play a game because it's nothing like watching somebody play football and things like that. Like, he went down that road. Then he joked that it's also dumb that he watches football like he was trying to recover.
Yeah, it was totally like
but
trying to walk it back.
So
Yeah.
bad. Because he knew he said he went the wrong direction with
Right.
it, but he committed to it.
Right.
Maybe I commend him for committing, but wrong.
I
thing to commit
think
about.
he underestimated and fair, to a fair point, because like I think in the past couple of years, like the vitriol that can come out of a gaming community that is based around the internet in the first place can be pretty fucking vicious. You know what I mean?
One of the things they said when he said when he was giving examples to Markiplier and Missy May about what people said to him, is they said to me, "Oh, that sounds like a 9-year-old wrote that or something."
Right, and they were laughing at him. They were laughing with the insults, like because they I'm sure they get just as bad sometimes.
They,
you know what I
of
mean?
course they do. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just you gotta understand the community, I guess, that's surrounded with the gaming and Let's Plays or something.
I mean, it's interesting because I think it actually is helping social interaction when you have all these people that get together at this big esports arena and participate in the spectacle. I mean, even like the way that we design games now is very much like with that, like, is this streamable? Is this going to be interesting to watch
Sure.
on YouTube in mind? So for him to kind of, I don't know, shit all over it is very much like, you don't get the point, dude.
Yeah, it's a lack of understanding and maybe a showing of age to a certain extent. Like, I've been there. I can say that efficiently. Zach, when you guys were doing Galak-Z, did you guys like think at all at any point like we're doing this? Obviously not as an esport, maybe, but like we're hoping that this catches some ground with streamers.
Yeah, absolutely. Like not at first, not when we started. That was 3 years ago. But in the past year or so, it's just insane how much it's blown up and how big of a thing it's become. And so that's been a focus towards the end of development. And even for the PC version, like we're definitely, reaching out to people on Twitch who really want to play the game and saying, here, have a copy, have as many keys as you want, give away to your fans. And it's such a vibrant and excitable community that it's stupid not to try and connect with them.
Right.
It's just a huge waste.
It's an extension of social media at this point, right? Like, really? Yeah.
Of course it is. Absolutely.
All right. I don't know. How much else can we say about this?
Well, until the next chapter.
I was waiting.
Hopefully it's done though, right? Can we just let this go? Like maybe okay. So I have one last question, maybe as a wrap up to this. Like, so we see late night kind of dabbling into the games a little bit. Like Letterman never really fucked with it. Jimmy Fallon does it a little bit because he's kind of like a
Conan.
Conan does
This is my point, and this is what I'm getting to: is that Conan does the whole clueless gamer thing, where he's like, "I'm clearly an idiot about games, and I'm going to play them with one of my, writers / producers or whoever that white-haired guy is, who's too young to have white hair." But you know what I'm talking about, right? You've seen some of those clueless gamer ones, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But my thing is like, it doesn't come across as offensive, and I feel like a lot of times it's actually good promotion for the game, and like it's a positive experience because you watch this guy kind of bumble around. He like when he was playing Witcher 3, he got all excited about having sex on a unicorn. It was amazing. You know what I mean? But like,
How much Conan are you watching?
I honestly these days, unfortunately, the only Conan I watch is the stuff that shows up on like Kotaku because he did the Clueless Gamer segment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like when I hear about Jimmy Kimmel talking about gamer, it turns into this. So how do we get Jimmy Kimmel on board here? If it was up to us, if we were the producer of the show, like if we were going to turn this around, do we just run for the hills at this point because it's too buried, or do we try and like incorporate something proactive?
I don't feel like he
Shut it down.
cares.
Shut it down.
That's what you do. Shut it down. You stop.
I don't think Kimmel can make it work the same way that Conan does, because his whole shtick is about self-deprecating humor, right? Like that's his thing. He's always making fun of himself. He's always mocking the things he does. But when you watch him, like you can tell he's totally a nerd. He's a huge geek. Maybe not for video games, but
I agree,
you can identify and empathize with him. And I think that's what makes it such a fun series to watch, because I really like the Clueless Gamer stuff. He does it the right way, and I think for someone who doesn't really play video games.
Mm-hmm. Well, what is Kimmel doing? What, like his style, is it just completely different because he's more of an observer? The way that he,
Have you ever read any criticism about The Big Bang Theory?
No, not.
A lot of the stuff leveled at it is that it's a show about nerdy humor and geeky humor, but the problem is that they're never laughing with the nerds; they're laughing at the nerds.
True.
And Kimmel strikes me as the same thing. Like for him, it's a point on his talk show. Like it's a way to make a joke and to get a rise out of people. But Conan is like embracing it wholeheartedly and just falling right into it. That's what makes it so entertaining.
I think that's a perfect way to wrap that up. Nicely done. All right. Didn't you guys still shower with your dad?
I feel like we talked about this game.
We talked about a trailer reveal a while back. It's true, but it's out now for $1. Go ahead.
I thought for a second when there's a colon and then more to the game. Like, do you shower with your dad? Do you still shower with?
You said it was like a sequel or something.
I thought it was a sequel. Like to a game.
Sound like a sequel.
I thought it was a sequel to something like
Shower with Your Dad Simulator 2015. Do you still shower with your dad? The Phantom Pain.
You know what? The suggestion is that it's actually the sequel to Frog Fractions hidden in there somewhere.
I love it when you jump the gun, Chris.
And Nick will tell you it's been out for 2 years.
I thought this game came out.
We were going to build up to that, buddy. Okay, so Justin McElroy and Nick Robinson did a little Let's Play of their own on Polygon. There was actually a really good joke to this that kind of segues from the previous story, is that, while they were playing the game at one point, they were kind of like, somebody should show this to Jimmy Kimmel, or like, take that, Jimmy Kimmel. Like, now we're playing a game with fucking naked dads. You know what I mean? This is what you don't get and what you're missing out on, that kind of thing. It was kind of funny. Okay, so obviously super weird premise. But I think what describes it is what you're alluding to, Chris, is the whole idea that Frog Fractions was like this kind of weird game that got weirder and weirder the more you played it. Yeah. And from what I've seen, this is exactly that kind of thing.
Is it?
How does that get weirder? I'm not sure.
Well, I'm curious to talk to Zach about this, because just before we started recording, you mentioned that you grabbed it and played it for a hot minute.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
It went great. I died pretty early on the first time, but then I
died?
Well, you
showered with the wrong dad, didn't you?
Find your dad when you grab the wrong dong in the shower. But I got to the part where the curtains close and you have to remember where they were. But I didn't see flying bathtubs. I didn't see any of this other weird Frog Fractions type of shit that apparently is in there.
If you could elevator pitch it to the audience in a way where they could maybe get a vibe for what they're about to purchase, if they wanted to throw $1 at their computer, how would you do that?
Get to the point as fast as you can, but the points are dongs and you're a kid. Doesn't sound appealing at all, does it?
I don't even know. As a father, I don't even know what to say to that. Although I think you probably captured the essence of it, since I already know what you're talking about. So.
The gameplay, at least the part I played, like I said, I don't know if it changes later on, but the gameplay is super simple. But it's also pretty compelling because they keep adding in stuff. There's obstacles. There's things you have to avoid, and they change it up a little bit.
Well, there's varied game modes in the sense that they have the marathon thing, they have kind of an endless runner type thing, but they every level is different. Like one is you're trying to get to point A to point B without screwing up. The other one is Flappy Bird, and the other one is the Matrix thing where you're running left to right instead of all over the place. It's very strange. It's fucking weird, and that's kind of the correlation to Frog Fractions, where they interrupt you with all these kind of different. Amounts of content and injections of content that keeps it really weird. And apparently, not to spoil anything for anybody, but at the end there's some illusion. One of the last levels you play is that the dad that you think is supposed to be your dad is not actually your dad.
Oh, shit.
So you trying to hook up with, like, save him from certain levels and meet up with him in the shower at certain points, like
what? You're adopted or something?
that, or you're a clone. Infer your own ending here, buddy. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's cliffhanger ending, I guess. But
I still feel like I don't know what the game is.
Did you watch any of the Let's Play stuff? Did you watch the video?
I haven't.
No. Okay. Yet. I would say go do that, and you'll have a better idea what's happening. And my favorite thing about this whole thing, it's super pixelated, like 8-bit kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, so when you say pixelated, most people would turn around and maybe call it dixelated. So hey yo.
Yeah, I'll edit that part out. Don't worry about it.
Dad joke.
Did any of you guys check out the options menu?
No.
That was one of my favorite parts, because they have a setting for field of view, but it goes between 90 degrees and 90.1 degrees. They also have a nudity selection, and the options are like yes, dongs, yeah, and hell yeah.
What does hell yeah look like? I'm assuming you switched it to that.
It's scrolling. It's like you check it out. I think it's all the same, but they did a good job on the options.
Wait, is there a long slider between 90 and 90.1?
Yes.
Okay.
It's $1. It's on Steam. Probably worth the price of admission. Zach, yes or no? Is it worth $1?
Yeah, worth $1.
All right.
I'll pick it up right after this.
Because why the fuck not?
Yeah,
right?
it just comes from a place of curiosity.
If it was a month from now, that $1 could go towards Galak-Z. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm buying that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we've actually had quite a large conversation about theme parks here lately. I think we did an episode with Carol about going to Nintendo Land.
Yep.
And we talked about the new Star Wars expansion at Disneyland. And today we're going to talk about Ubisoft Land.
Do we really need more of these theme parks, honestly?
Well,
I think we need one of them to come out.
Ubisoft thinks so, and they think that you should go all the way to Malaysia, if you're not already there, specifically Kuala Lumpur, to go experience their new theme park. It's slated to open in 2020. There's very little information at this point, but these are the articles that we love because we can just speculate and make fun of it. It's going to be great. So, Brian Ashcraft at Kotaku announced on September 7th that a 10,000 square foot indoor, it's key right there, theme park is going to open in Kuala Lumpur, that is going to feature a partnership between a Malaysian company that owns and operates theme parks and Ubisoft, who will kind of direct creative control. So,
I just got a picture of like a theme park with a bunch of hay barrels you can jump into.
Exactly. That's pretty good.
They have a couple viewpoints you can walk out on.
Right. If you climb up to a really high point, then you can see the whole park and understand where all of the points of interest are. There's been no discussion whether or not the actual Ubisoft IP, like existing IP, will be used there, or if they're going to create like exclusive experiences for this theme park. They have constructed like a Rabbids ride for a different theme park back in France, so I don't know, but
the Assassin's Creed ride is just going to be like a really packed area where you're just pushing through like fat people and strollers the whole time,
and somehow still blending in with the crowd.
Isn't that just a theme park?
Exactly.
That's what they're billing it as. All digital and creative content will be under Ubisoft purview, but the project will be run by their Malaysian partner. So that's what I can tell you about it right now.
I am interested in the quote because there's a lot of speculation behind that.
Yes, the quote reads from the senior VP of Ubisoft Motion Pictures, who I assume has some hand in the new Assassin's Creed movie. I'm going to butcher this name, so I'm sorry, but Jean de Riveras, that's probably wrong. It's quote unquote immerse people in reactive worlds where they can interact with each other and become heroes of their own life-sized game. Which sounds to me like everybody's walking around in an empty room, which is kind of like the holodeck on Star Trek. Everybody's wearing a VR mask. And
I was just going to say, maybe they have VR headsets.
Yeah, and they're just like, they're having their own experience, and like their interaction with other people is them just kind of pushing them out of their way so they can get fucking to the next part of their experience.
That would be quite a VR experience.
It'd be pretty amazing.
You just have everybody in the room have VR headsets, and you got to wade through different people having VR.
Get from point A to point B. Good luck. I don't know. Is this something that people want? Is it really?
Did you say 10,000 square feet?
10,000 square feet.
That's not very big.
It's not very
a park
big.
for ants. Like that's super tiny.
Is it a school for
A park for ants.
That's like
yeah.
a large house, pretty much.
It's a very large house, but yes, like I think
Yeah, that's not that big.
it's not that big.
I didn't
Have you guys heard of the Void?
No, what's the void?
The Void's a VR theme park that's opening in Utah, and I think it sounds like they're probably further along than Ubisoft planned. But they have real life obstacles set up, and then all the VR stuff maps to that. So as you're walking around, you're actually like interacting with stuff in the world, and they have like a lever that you push down, and it makes it feel like you're on an elevator because as you push down on the lever, it goes down, but it feels like you're moving up. And so they have like all these cool like physical interactions that make the world come to life, and it sounds like it's not too dissimilar from that sort of thing.
Oh, we did talk about this on an episode. But
I think we did.
I don't think we had the name of the park because it was at the time just like a lightning round topic.
Yeah, we shot through
They
it.
just put out their trailer a few days ago, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I want to check that out because that's super intriguing to me because that's the big problem that needs to be solved with VR right now is that to make it really cool, especially with some of the, Valve VR experiences and stuff like that, you have to have a whole room dedicated to your VR experience. And even then, now the developers have to limit their game design to a square, the little box.
Right.
And if you actually had that kind of a playground, I think that's where VR would actually shine really well. Like you can give me a physical object to hold that feels like a sword, and then put me in a room where I'm holding a sword in VR, and there are actual obstacles around me that are now like physical and virtual. That's when it really shines. So
I actually
super
saw
excited.
something at PAX. They are trying to solve that like being stuck in a small room thing.
Right.
It's got a really long name. It's like Call of the Starseed something. But they use this like
Do you still shower with your dad?
Colon.
they use this
Phantom pain.
this blink mechanic where you can like blink to new areas and it kind of like fades out and fades back in. And I thought it would be really disorienting, but it actually works really well.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, it almost feels like playing Myst or whatever in VR. It's pretty interesting.
So we can make all the Ubisoft / Disney jokes that we want to make, but I think we're all assuming based on square footage and like the reference that you made, Zach, with the Void, is that this is probably going to be some sort of like interactive experience for a limited number of people, but it's probably going to be based around some AR or VR mechanic, right? Or interface.
Yeah.
Do we still call these theme parks? Like, is this a theme park where you don't?
That's what they're calling it, which again kind of precludes me back to like what like IP from Ubisoft are we most interested in seeing? I'm pretty sure it's not Watch Dogs. I'm not sure that it's Assassin's Creed. Maybe Splinter Cell? I don't what? Like what is it? Rayman? Rayman would be cool.
Six?
Rayman would be like the
First
best
person
one.
Rayman would be the fucking shit. Like
Maybe my hands are connected to my
they're not really connected, but that's the perfect experience because they're just disembodied. Like
Yeah, you have this weird like
it would be amazing. I mean, I know. I actually while writing this script, I was looking through Disney rides. I had a list of Disney rides and then a list of Ubisoft games, and I was trying to come up with dumb names like Assassins of the Caribbean and shit like that. But
you did come up with those dumb names.
you
They were in the
wrote it down,
intro.
yeah.
So I'm just saying I am responsible for that. Thank you. But I'm just saying that when you started going through, like there are like Ubisoft has got a laundry list of shit that they can make something out of. But what's most relevant right now? And if you have a title going to movie, how is it not going to be another Assassin's Creed thing?
It has to be Assassin's Creed.
Right? Like why isn't it? Why wouldn't it be? I guess is my question.
There's also Far Cry.
True.
First person shooters, that's how everyone gets their feet wet in the VR stuff. I think that would sell really well.
Yeah, it would.
Guy in pink suit loves drugs.
Yep.
True.
It would go well.
They would have to like change the park every year with their like annual Assassin's Creed and Far Cry installments.
It would be cool if they did that. I don't know.
That's what the Void guys are doing. They said every like 3 or 4 months we're doing a new content, a new
If
experience
it's
for
only
you.
10,000
Jeez.
square feet, then it's not too bad. Like
It's like a big ass house.
model.
It's like a really
Yeah.
big house that you can kind of like want in it. Like you're saying, Zach, if they map it appropriately, they can do kind of like that interactive, even with like a mild amount of haptic feedback coming through. You know what I mean?
yeah.
They do a lot of stuff with that.
I would try this. This sounds like fun.
I'm not going to go to Kuala Lumpur to do it. I'm going
I
to
know.
Utah to go play the Void.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
let's just go to the Void.
doing. So anyway,
I don't know. Well,
it's Ubisoft though too. So I'm like, they're going to push it back like 3 years. They're not going to be able to fucking have females in it.
The performance is going to be
they won't be able to render females and then, unless it's in their 2D art engine. And then we can play like a Child of Light VR or something, and that'd be a lot of fun.
That'd be great. I'm down with
do that.
We're just hopping between platforms as we like slash on shit.
No, in Child of Light, I mean, after the first like 10 minutes of gameplay, you just fly everywhere anyway. So.
Yeah, that's true.
I always thought that was interesting because they were like, you play a platformer for a minute and then suddenly none of that mattered anymore.
Yeah.
Like who spent all day working on mechanics for this thing that they threw out?
I feel like everything that came out of the UB art engine has been awesome.
Oh god, Child of Light's so good.
Child of Light was great. What else? That weird World War I thing that they did was really cool and like animated really nicely. You had the dog. I forget what it's called.
Oh, you mean the...
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, see, when you wait this
Something
long...
Heroes. The Heroes was in it, I think.
Maybe.
Is it the World War II, you said?
No, World War I, actually.
Okay, yeah, World War I with the dog, and he's like in everybody's story. There's the medic guy.
Yes.
and then there's the thing.
I forget what it's called.
This is...
We got to move on. We got to move on.
It was good.
Yeah, anyway.
This is when you have the listener yelling
also
at the...
the Trials games. Trials Fusion, that was Ubisoft too. Anyway, okay, we're moving on. Lightning round, everybody. Ready? Here we go.
All right.
Firefox creator wrote an unofficial episode of Silicon Valley. The show is often credited and discredited for being a little bit too accurate for anybody that's watching the HBO series that it's based around.
We just finished season 2.
Just finished season 2. We're about 8 months away from season 3. It's already been renewed, so it's coming whether you want it to or not. We all want it to, so get over it. But one of the co-founders, Blake Ross, took a stab at writing an unofficial episode and posted it, so it's up there. You can go read it and everything else. But he put the main character, Richard, who runs the company Pied Piper, which is featured in the show, and faces him with problems like replacing himself as CEO of the company and opening up his code base to open source. So anybody that kind of does development at all is probably kind of a fan of the show, but also understands that they hit close to home when it comes to some of these issues. I think it's kind of cool that like a member of like, I can't imagine that Blake Ross would take this time if he wasn't a fan of the show. The fact that he did it is a cool thing, and I don't know. We're gonna go around the horn. Joe, you start. Everybody,
start?
Everybody's gonna chime in for a couple minutes, and then we'll move on to the next
I think
thing.
we get 1 minute.
A minute? All right, a minute.
Otherwise, I'll take all my time, and then this will go on forever. This is something that is obviously not actually. This is a pitched episode, right? Not something that'll officially be.
I think I said it, but it is unofficial. It's not
Right.
something that's aired or whatever. It may not ever air, but
Should it be?
You can read the script. So
I think maybe this is the dawn of a new age where community written shows are a possibility, and people like Mike Judge can just sit back and receive scripts from fans and approve or disapprove them, or maybe flip through them and make some edits and stuff, and then before you know it, he barely has to do a job. Everyone's happy. If you think about it, it's kind of like open sourcing TV. And then once you do that, then everybody gets to contribute, and at some point when everyone's happy, which never happens, then you put out the episode officially, and there we have a whole new like breed of television shows. And what better show to do it than one
based
such
around
as this?
Yes, Zach, you
I
got.
have not seen the show yet. I'm still working through Rick and Morty, but it's next on my list.
I just watched the first season of Rick and Morty this weekend, actually.
That's so good.
Yeah, it's great. But are you you're familiar with the premise? I take it though.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds interesting. I mean, I can't help but thinking how that would work with game development, like open sourcing game development, write a chapter or the story, or write this little level. I don't know. It sounds cool. I'd like to read the scripts. Like, even if I haven't seen the show, I'd be interested just to see what he tried to put in there.
I think one of the important things to know, like just knowing kind of the education that we all came from to a certain degree, like even if you're talking about a functional application or whatever, like the development, there are certain parallels that are drawn. And if anybody has seen Office Space, which was directed by Mike Judge, this is kind of like the current gen version of that big time. You know what I mean? I think that's the best correlation I can make. So
I read a few pages of it, and I actually thought that it was quite good. The dialogue and just how he wrote like the actions that the characters were taking. It was obvious that he had like a really good understanding of like their personas. And so it was cool to see a guy who was a fan of the show like write a character, and I was reading the dialogue, and it was like I could totally picture like, you know,
you heard them saying
they heard it, and they're like, you know, Guilfoyle in his voice or whatever, and so it was pretty cool. Even just like the mannerisms and the vocabulary they use. I didn't read the whole thing, so I don't know if it like continued to be good. But you know, as some guy that's like been around Silicon Valley for a while, you know, the show already kind of seems to get a lot of things right. So it, you know, maybe he can give some input and like it can be even funnier.
Yeah. Nick?
I guess I didn't read it at all. I don't know like what he wrote or anything. And it sounds like you guys enjoyed it a lot or something. But this sounds like some high profile fan fiction in a way, I guess.
This is, I
like,
think
this is like maybe he wrote a good story or something, but what does this show come out on? NBC or something?
it's HBO.
HBO, okay.
Yeah.
Does HBO care what this guy wrote? Like, is he high profile enough that HBO is going to pick up his script or something? I know Joe mentioned that this is like the beginning of possibly the beginning of open source.
It's not really.
I don't think it is. I think this is the CEO of some company that is
It's Firefox.
doing fairly well because they're Firefox and they're great.
Nonprofit.
Yeah, and they make a great browser. I love them. But it's still fan fiction. Like, it's just...
Yes, it is.
I don't know. Like, is Fat Ryan Reynolds still in it? Like,
oh, boy. Are you ceding your remaining time? Because otherwise I'm just going to keep interrupting
Are you
you.
good? You got like 10 seconds left if you want to.
no, I had fun.
Okay.
You want to keep embarrassing yourself.
I had a lot of fun listening to you. So here's the thing. Yes, I think honestly the correlation you made as it being awesome fan fiction, that's exactly what it was. And I think a lot of the articles written about it, especially in Gadget, the one that we're reciting, talked about that in very loving terms, in the sense that this is a guy who's a fan of the show, has personal experience with this field, and wrote something very true to the show as well as the field itself. So it's got to fit right in that niche. He has actually kind of like gone out on forums saying that he's taking feedback about the episode. Not to say that necessarily he's going to pitch it or whatever, but he knows that as the lowly co-founder and co-creator of Firefox, as Nick would have you believe, yes, maybe he doesn't have the Hollywood clout that you would think, but I would not see it very far off that he would be like a guest writer on an episode at some point in the future. Did he do it for that specific reason? Maybe not. I think this was kind of just like a side passion project, as most fan fiction is.
I feel like the closest we got into like open fan fiction is It's Always Sun in Philadelphia in some way. Like, that show was like founded on just some people like pitching this like group of people,
Four horrible people that own a bar.
horrible people that it's like it's a fan fiction that it's a fiction that didn't exist at first, but they pitched this fan fiction and then it became a show or something.
There was actually a show that Will Wright like co-created from
Sims. Everything's Sims.
Yeah, SimCity.
Yeah, I cannot remember the name of it right now. It's like it was a sci-fi show about this bar that people come in and out of and like tell these stories, and like Bar Karma or something like that. And that was crowdsourced.
You had me at sci-fi and bar.
They they took like crowdsourced like writing from the community in order to build the episodes. I think it only lasted for like one season or something. I didn't actually watch it, but it's interesting like development leading up to the show. Maybe we should check it out at some point.
All right. Sounds
Wait,
good.
this is still a thing?
No, it's not ongoing. It was like one season.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, that was a
Or like a pilot and then
crowdsourced
nothing
show.
or something.
No, it was a pilot and like 12 episodes.
Oh,
I
really?
think of Iron Skies. I mean, that's crowdfunded, I guess.
That's
but-
like 5 seasons deep.
I thought it was just like 2
Isn't it?
movies.
No,
No, I'm thinking Fallen Skies.
You're thinking
Never mind.
Fallen Skies.
Continue.
Iron Skies is the whole
Yeah,
Nazis on the moon
So
thing.
yeah.
this is completely off topic
Never
because
mind.
it's not a crowd-sourced, I guess you could say. It's just crowd-funded or something, but it's
Is it really?
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
qualify.
Didn't Spielberg like
Doesn't-
executive? Anyway, okay, we're moving on.
great. If you haven't seen, watch it.
Okay.
Next topic.
We're going to talk about War Child, which is an amazing charity foundation that is partnering with a game initiative called Help. Real War is Not a Game, and they're recruiting a bunch of established studios to game jam for 6 days to make a bunch of quick games to raise money for kids that are affected by the horrors of war, which is an awesome cause. B, game jamming is great. C, cool when you see studios actually getting in the mix instead of just amateurs and everything else. Not that it's bad when amateurs do it, but it's kind of fun to see like pros taking time out of their schedules to kind of go and
I just picture this producer walking down the hall saying like, "Okay, guys, you gotta you got a game jam for 1 week.
You're taking a week off the project to go do this. Zach, go ahead, man. What were you gonna say?
Oh, no, nothing. No, this sounds like a super cool idea. I'd not heard about it until you mentioned it, but it sounds fucking awesome. I kind of wish we were participating.
Oh, well, because there's one called Team 17, and I was like, oh wait, I wonder if that's him. But
It's the Worms guys.
yeah, it's the guys who did Worms. We'll run through the participants so far. 343 Industries, the guys who are doing Halo 5 and taking on the whole Halo franchise from Microsoft. They're doing it. Boss Studios, the guys who did Surgeon Simulator. That'll probably be the most frustrating game of the whole bunch right there if they're not involved. Creative Assembly, who did Alien Isolation. Nick, I'm looking at you, buddy.
I'm still too scared to finish the game.
The AI is going to be too good, is what's going to happen there. T17, the guys who did Worms, and Hinterland, the guys who are doing Long Dark. Did Long Dark came out, right?
All these games came out already.
Okay,
didn't they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Good.
Like a year ago.
Yeah.
We don't trust you about game releases.
So they're going to have 6 days to make a few games, and they're all going to get bundled and sold in late March of next year. And tools and engines will be supplied by Unreal, GameMaker, and Unity. This is fucking rad, and everybody needs to go and support it. And I don't know, we should get this bundle, play the shit out of it when it comes out, and keep promoting the fuck out of it so people can, get the money and give it to these cool. This is a great initiative, and I'm on board. I'm on board. There's my minute. Go ahead.
You'll hand it off to somebody.
To you.
Why do I always? Okay, fine.
Because it's your idea.
I also think it's a great idea, and I have a feeling that every other person that gets a minute is going to talk about how great of an idea this is, because there's nothing bad about this.
No, it's not. Yeah.
If I don't know, we have a fairly vast listenership from people who develop games and people who don't, and if you don't know what a game jam is, it's a really awesome opportunity to make something in a very small amount of time without worrying too much about all of the things that usually get you caught up in iteration. And sometimes magic happens when game jams occur, and
at the very least you learn something.
Yeah. And I genuinely love playing game jam bundles or checking out what's going on. And like when we participated in Fuck This Jam a couple years ago,
yeah,
and that was one of the coolest experiences I've had in a long time, and we only worked on that shit for like
48 hours maybe.
I think it was like 24 total hours of work. And it's an amazing experience. And then you just add charity on top of that, and we're going in the right direction with game development with game jams. So keep it up, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
The end of my rant.
Zach, why isn't 17-bit up on this, bro?
Oh god, we didn't even know about this.
I'm blaming you personally, just so you know.
No, I think this is especially poignant given all the stuff that's happening in Syria and the refugees that are fleeing. It's like the perfect timing. I mean, there's always war, but like this, it just seems like the perfect time to do something like this. It's super rad.
This is the same company that like 20 years ago got together with like Oasis and Portishead and all. Like they did a whole help : do you still shower with your dad album? And it made more sense then from a media standpoint to do it through music, but now, I mean, more than ever, games are at the forefront, so why not?
Yeah, I hope that they continue to do this. I would love to see more studios participating. Hell, I would love to see my studio participate in something like this, because I think like we can.
You guys have a game to ship.
We have a game to
focused.
ship. But that's what I'm saying. In the future, right? If this happens again, like we've shipped our game, whatever. Yeah. This would be a cool thing to take a week to participate in, just to see what could come out of it. Especially, I think game studios in general, not just like people playing the games, should be participating more in like charity streams and charity game jams and all that stuff. There's a lot of like marketing power behind that too that can really help the causes.
I agree with all you guys. Like, this is a great thing and everything, but I can't get out of my head the whole idea that I mentioned earlier or something. Just like, it's like I picture like just a bunch of cubicles, like of people like programming or doing like art content or something. Like a producer or some kind of guy going down the hall is just like, okay, guys, you got to keep working. We're not going to make any money on this. You're not going to get any bonus or anything. But this is for a good cause. Like just like, I don't know, like just them hammering
Stop
it in.
everything you're doing and go do something else for a week.
It's like some of the big corporations that got involved in this. It's kind of like for them to be involved with it is great, but I just get that picture of
Aren't
like,
those all indie studios?
well,
No.
To some extent. I mean,
They're big.
343 releases AAA
Yeah.
titles.
Yeah.
okay, I pictured 343 or something like. You got people walking. I don't know. It's just
Look, they'll release a game, but the matchmaking won't work.
yeah. You're not gonna
Is it
get.
just one game? Like, do you know the format? Is it the whole company works on one game? Because that would be a nightmare. You can't have.
Yeah,
so
I don't
many
think that's the
No,
way it's
yeah,
I
you
think every
can't.
studio is doing their own thing, and that's why they're saying it's going to be released as a bundle. So, like, 343 will have a game. Boston Studios will have a game. Team 17 will have a game. There'll be 6 mini games that come as a bundle that'll go on sale in March.
Wait, that's not what you were saying, was
Yeah,
it?
no, I'm saying like the whole company, like 343. Everybody there is not working on this game.
Oh,
right?
yeah, I don't-
It's
I
not
don't-
Oh no, I think they probably have like a little bit of a dedicated staff.
It's got to be like
to
it can't be more than 10 people, otherce you're asking
Yeah.
for trouble.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think
yeah,
so. I picture it in my head that maybe like they got the whole company like under slave whips or something, producing this free content for them or something.
Let it be written, so let it be written, so let it be done.
Yeah.
We're back to like the Cecil B. DeMille like biblical epics here or something. But
Hey, remember earlier when I thought we'd all have the same opinion about this?
No, I
Apparently not.
leave it to Nick to prove you wrong.
Yes.
You know what I
I
mean?
have the
Surprise.
same opinion. It's just like I've got a different view on how it could happen.
No, I
don't know.
You may not be wrong depending on the company that you're talking about.
I think I
let's
may
all-
be wrong, but I'm just saying.
You're probably wrong, but I guess my thing is like we talk so much about like the shit that happens, like shitty gamer vitriol or shitty gamer occurrences or studios getting shut down and everything else. I think it's just cool when we see something positive happening that is giving back a little bit or having some sort of like charitable contribution to the greater good.
Yeah.
So
No, it's
worth
great.
highlighting. I know it's hard to come up with a minute each to talk about like, yes, this is a great idea. Let me just say the same thing that the guy before me just said.
Well, I was the last guy again, so I had to
So
come
Nick
up
was
with something.
trying. He was
Yeah.
All right, well, guess what? Guess what? For the last topic, buddy, you're first. Okay.
What's the first topic?
The last
topic is
we need to not feature that beer again.
yeah. No more 3 philosophers for you. It's MegaMan the movie, you guys.
Oh,
There's a rumor going around. This is not confirmed that Capcom is working with 20th Century Fox to bring MegaMan the movie to a theater near you. I don't know how to feel about this,
when
but
they screw it up, are they going to release the license?
or they're going to have 4 Kickstarters to get the fucking thing funded. I don't know.
Alright.
But 20th Century Fox and Shonen Entertainment, which is known for kind of running Crunchyroll if you watch a lot of anime, and pay for it, which is dumb because I'm sure Nick can steer you in the direction.
No,
where
you can
don't
watch a lot of free anime on Crunchyroll. I watch a lot
Stop
of anime.
interrupting me. And actually, the producers from the Planet of the Apes reboots, the new ones, with fucking James Franco. And,
He wasn't in the second one.
And tons of
No,
CG.
he wasn't. But the ape was.
Caesar?
Yeah, Caesar. He's
right.
in the second one. They're gonna try and bring MegaMan to a theater near you for the second time. I feel like I'm repeating myself. Anyway, I don't know, gentlemen.
I thought you said I was first.
You are first.
Oh my god.
You're first.
Go
Nick.
ahead, Nick. Get it out of your system.
Go.
Please.
I don't know. Okay, this is a little bit embarrassing, but I don't have a lot to say about Mega Man because I never really played a Mega Man game. I played a lot of Sonic, I guess, and Mario, I suppose.
Okay.
Mega Man came a little bit after Mario and maybe before Sonic.
Yeah.
Well, I can't.
Yes.
I don't even know.
I think you're right.
I like him in Smash Brothers a lot. And is it
Zach's face right now is priceless.
Keep going, Nick. It's
is
your
this
time.
gonna be like the? Is this gonna be like a Resident Evil movie or like a?
You're good. Keep going.
Or
The Super Mario Brothers.
no,
movie.
the Persian game, the
Prince of Persia.
Prince of Persia. Yeah.
If they get Jake
Prince of Persia
Gyllenhaal to
movie.
beat Mega Man, I'll be shocked.
Who would you have play Mega Man?
No,
Well,
it's your. Are you
yeah.
done?
I'm asking a question. It's my turn, so.
Jonah Hill to play Mega Man.
Jonah Hill to play Mega. That would actually be
That's
amazing.
actually pretty good.
Directed.
I like that.
Yeah. By the guy who did Superbad.
It's, it's clearly
if they
Vin
made-
Diesel, but he's got to show his face.
If they made Mega Man in the sport of like What is the movie just
RoboCop.
the Kingsman? All the Kingsman. The guy who directed Kick-Ass.
Oh,
if they made a Mega Man movie in the style of Kick-Ass or
it's
something,
Matt Vaughn. His name is Matt Vaughn.
Yeah.
he did. Yeah,
Amazing.
that would be awesome.
yeah, that would be pretty rad. Actually, I'll give you that.
Throw in some Scott Pilgrim shit and we're good.
Good,
Yeah.
good
Perfect.
save, Nick
You're welcome.
Golesh. Good
Stop
save.
there, please. Stop there. Who's next?
Zach. We're gonna go to you, buddy. How do you feel about a Mega Man movie?
I've got some thoughts. Mega Man's cool, but he's such a he's almost a faceless character, right? Because he's got a suit. He doesn't talk a lot. He doesn't have much to say. He's kind of uninteresting as a character. He's cool as hell, but personality-wise, I can't really think of anybody that would fit the role really well. Probably Michael Cera for the laughs.
Yeah.
Hence the Scott Pilgrim shit.
Yeah,
But I
we're
have
sticking
very
around.
strong thoughts on other characters. Dr. Wily, Jeff Bridges.
Good one. Good one. Yeah,
And,
that works.
Or sorry, did I say Dr. Wily? I meant Dr. White.
Oh,
Yep. Neither of us even caught that, or none of us did.
it's fine.
Okay. And Dr. Wily, I could see J.K. Simmons from Whiplash,
Sure. Did you see
Well,
Whiplash,
for us-
Joe? You need to see that.
or even like Bryan Cranston, someone like that. Someone with a really, I don't don't know.
Oh, I'd even go. What's the guy from Boardwalk Empire? Steve Buscemi.
Buscemi?
Yeah, Steve Buscemi. Oh yeah.
Give him some good facial hair and a bald head, and you're good to go. You know what I mean? I'm looking at you, Zach. I'm just saying.
I'm actually going to be playing Dr. Wily.
Why not? Why not?
Sorry, guys, but
You still have time if you have more
I
opinions.
don't what characters, what bosses are we pulling from?
Who's
gonna play the dog? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the dog.
A dog? I don't know.
Who's gonna voice the dog?
Wait, do you have a voice in mind for the dog? You seem to have it all
Does
figured
the
out.
dog
Zach.
speak in Mega Man?
Does it?
I don't
That's
know.
never stopped them before.
That's the correct answer to that question.
Good point.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to think about the dog. I don't have a good answer for that one.
All right.
I have no thoughts about a Mega Man
Really?
movie at all.
Come on.
I'm tired of video game movies, dude. I'm tired of them. They're not all horrible, but most of them. Do I need to point out pixels? Come on.
No,
Come
we don't
on.
ever talk about pixels.
Exactly.
I don't
That's
know.
why I'm gonna
That's not a
just.
video game movie.
I'm gonna cede the rest of my time.
Okay, so here's my thought on the whole process: is that I feel like. What? All right, go ahead. Go
I
ahead,
just
Joe.
thought for a second, you weren't gonna let me fucking go. That's fine. No worries.
I have to be last. Is that how? This
No,
works?
I just want, because you're the host.
okay.
I was just gonna let you know that I don't have any thoughts on it.
Why don't you go ahead and spill the rest of it anyway?
No, for
Give
real.
me the quick, the quick and dirty.
The last really good Mega Man experience I had was with Mega Man X, and it was a hell of a lot of fun. And I like the idea of there being that much larger RPG style story behind it and stuff. And I got really caught up in that game. I actually finished it, and that's really rare for me because I don't finish RPGs, and it was RPG enough. So there you could definitely, there's a lot of story there that you can do, but I really don't think that Mega Man is the right game to create a central character out of for a movie. I don't think it makes any sense, but there you go. I'm interested to see what the hell they do with it.
Okay,
I think they could have some fun because there's not a lot there. They can do whatever they want.
there's enough there. I think.
No, think Guardians of the Galaxy. There's not a lot there.
there's a lot. There's a ton.
There's a ton there, but not that people know.
We're talking about 30 years worth of fucking comic backlog right there.
Of stuff that's like on the side of all the Marvel Universe stuff. Like it's not fucking the X-Men or Spider-Man or something. It's not a big name thing. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, people didn't even know about it until it came out in a movie.
Sure.
Mega Man,
Because they did it right.
Mega Man, people know about Mega Man, but there's not a lot of backstory. So they could come up with whatever the hell they want. It could be I don't know.
So they do the He-Man treatment with Dolph Lundgren, where it's oh, this isn't going to take place in Eternia. This is going to take place in the streets of New York.
What is Mega Man? What is Mega Man's story? Is it Astro Boy?
I honestly have no idea. But I think you had the right idea, Nick. I think you had the right idea. Go ahead, Zach. What were we going to say?
No, I was going to say it probably would be an origin story. How does Mega Man come to be? Because that's the only way. After that, he's like I said, he's not faceless, but he's such a bland character story wise and all the stuff that happens.
I hope it's like the Mario Brothers movie.
Wait, so is this them explaining how Mega Man became so fucking bland?
How he got a cannon on his right arm? So here's my thing. So I feel like the comic book thing is not running its gamut, but it's starting to get to the point where even DC and Marvel aren't quite sure what to do. So studios like Fox, which just gave up the rights to Spider-Man, are turning around and be like, what properties do we have to keep this demographic in the loop right now? And it means video games. Like, they tried the waters with a movie that starts with a P and ends with Ixels, and they've done certain things in the past that didn't necessarily work. Just like video games, like there was an original Punisher movie way back in the day. Nobody remembers that shit, but it fucking exists. Like, I'm just saying,
I remember the Punisher
this
movie.
Yeah, was it?
Everyone remembers
I
it.
liked it. The one with Thomas Jane.
All right, so maybe I'm not. For the first time in a long time, I'm not dating myself. Thank God. So I guess what I'm saying is that, like, now video games are being this, like, test of the water thing. Like, we have an Assassin's Creed movie coming.
I feel like
we have the fucking, you know, like, we're not going to do theme park ride movies anymore. Like, hey, it's Haunted Mansion or it's fucking Pirates of the Caribbean, because that's so 5 fucking years ago. What we're going to do now is video game titles from 30 fucking years ago. Even Nintendo is turning around and being like, yeah, how after that horrible fucking, like, Mario Brothers movie came out, Smario. Fuck, is this smarmy as fucking shit? Because I'm telling you right now, what's happening is that Hollywood's getting wise or dumb and trying to catch up to. They're the Jimmy Kimmel of understanding, like, you know, like nerd culture, in the sense that, like, oh, people are paying attention to this, so maybe we should make some fucking movies about it. And that's why MegaMan is a title that's been around for a while. Let's do it. That's it.
That was a hardcore rant, dude. Bravo.
Good job, sir.
All right.
You used your time wisely.
God damn it.
That's fantastic.
Did we do it?
I think
Yeah.
we might have done it. Zach, dude, thank you so much, man, for coming on the show and taking the time. I know it's, you know, maybe a bit easier these days, but you guys are running up to the PC release and everything else, so I'm sure. And you're fucking moving to Japan in a month, apparently, so that's got to be difficult. But
Yeah.
I've been saying that for 2 years though, so let's not count our chickens before they're hatched.
Fair enough. But congratulations again on everything and all the efforts on Galak-Z, man. Like, you know, as far as the critics are concerned, it's been doing great. I'm looking forward to playing the fucking shit out of it, and I don't know. We were just grateful to have you on, man. So thank you.
Thank you, man.
Where
Appreciate it. It's a lot of fun being here.
Where can we
Thanks,
find you and 17-bit on the internets?
You can follow 17bit at 17_bit. And I'm the Zaikman, TheZaikman on Twitter.
Oh, right on. You'll get a follow from Chico's podcast later.
Ooh, good for you.
And you, dear listener, we appreciate you hanging out with us. We strive to give you great content and some guests that you can, you know, learn something from and be excited about when they put games out. And we love the fact that you listen. So hit us up on the website, hit us up on the Twitter, hit us up on the Facebook. Let us know what you think. Join the conversation. Make sure to tell all your friends, and tell them that we're not Jimmy Kimmel. You know. This has been the end and the wrap of episode 62. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure as always. This is gonna be the last time we're gonna have Chris Morris in the studio for a while.
For a while, it's all right. I'll be back.
He'll be back on
You can't
site.
get rid of me.
That's true.
We can try.
We'll miss you, buddy.
You're like a bad case of gonorrhea. In the meantime, thanks everybody for listening. Zach, thank you once again. And we'll see you next week, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.